On the edge of a small town stood an old roadside inn. Its roof had seen better days, with moss growing between the tiles and ivy slowly consuming the stone walls. In the front yard, a few withered trees swayed in the wind, casting long shadows that stretched across the worn-out porch. Most travelers would ignore this place, choosing to press on towards more hospitable accommodations. But every so often, a weary soul would seek shelter within, not knowing what secrets lurked within its dusty rooms. In particular, travelers who sought refuge during the night would often find themselves drawn to book the 6th room. Well, most likely because it was always empty. See, there was something about room 6 that made the innkeepers nervous. They simply couldn't explain it. All they knew was that since the opening of the inn until now, nobody had ever willingly booked the room. That is, except for one. About 5 years prior, a man had rented room 6 for the sole purpose of escaping his problems. He'd locked himself in there with a bottle of whiskey and had Ewan come out until the 2nd day. When he did leave, he looked as if he hadn't slept or eaten, and he quickly fled the town without paying his bill. After that, room 6 became known as the Cursed Room. Everyone avoided it. If any traveler asked for it by name, the innkeeper would warn them of the stories surrounding it. And each year, fewer people dared to stay in the inn at all. It had been particularly quiet lately, which suited the innkeeper just fine. However, he didn't expect the streak to end anytime soon, so he was surprised when one night a man approached his inn drenched to the bone and asked for a room. The innkeeper eyed the newcomer cautiously. The stranger was young, too young to be traveling alone at night, especially not in such bad weather. The road to this part of town was usually traveled by midday, and those who took it late at night weren't dumb enough to ask for lodging here. This guy was either insane or severely lost. Still, business was business, and the innkeeper had a rule. Anyone who knocked could stay in the inn for the night. So he led the stranger inside. "What brings you to this neck of the woods?"
the innkeeper asked, handing the young man a towel.
"I got caught in the rain and needed somewhere to rest," the traveler said, wringing water from his dark hair. "Sorry about that." "No worries. Happens to the best of us." The innkeeper paused. About the rooms. We only have one left. You wouldn't happen to mind staying in room 6, would you?" The young man looked up. "Room 6? What's wrong with it?" "Oh, nothing. Just, don't look in the mirror." The innkeeper handed him the key. "Here you go." The young man took it, confused. "Why should I avoid the mirror?" Before the innkeeper could answer, the young man went upstairs. The innkeeper watched him climb the stairs and disappear around the corner. Alone again, he let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. Room 6 was filled with cobwebs and old furniture. Rain lashed against the window, making the flickering candlelight dance wildly on the walls. As he unpacked his things, the young man noticed a tall mirror tucked in the corner, covered with a moth-stained sheet. Curiosity bubbled within him. It wasn't that he believed in ghosts or curses, but there was something unsettling about the innkeeper's fearful gaze and warning about the mirror, combined with the eerie atmosphere to create a sense of dread in his gut. He tried to shake it off, but as the hours passed, the unease grew. He decided he couldn't take it anymore. Just as he was about to blow out his candle for bed, he walked over to the mirror. Mustering all his courage, he pulled the sheet off the mirror. His reflection stared back. For a moment, everything seemed normal. Then the stranger noticed something peculiar. His reflection was smiling, but he wasn't. He blinked, thinking it was a trick of the candlelight. Then he forced a smile onto his face, but his reflection didn't copy him. Confused, he frowned. The smile disappeared from the mirror along with his image. Then his reflection reappeared, still smiling. As he stood there, watching his reflection, the candle flickered, plunging the room into darkness. Then lightning flashed, illuminating the mirror once more. He saw the figure reflected in it standing close behind him, almost touching his shoulder. He turned slowly, expecting to find another traveler who had snuck into his room. But the room was empty. Shaken by the experience, he turned back to the mirror. The smiling figure was gone. Had he imagined it? He wanted to convince himself of that, but a sudden gust of wind slammed the door shut, and he heard footsteps approaching. His heart pounded as he spun around, his eyes struggling to pierce the gloom. There, by the door, a shadowy figure began to emerge, illuminated by the faint light from the corridor. Relief washed over him as he recognized the innkeeper. But before he could speak, the innkeeper gasped. "Oh, God! You found it!"
I tried to warn you.
He rushed closer, his eyes wide with concern. "Are you all right? Did you see it?"
The young man, still shaken, managed to nod.
How could I have not noticed? The room's practically filled with them. The innkeeper stepped aside, gesturing for the young man to look back at the mirror. Cautiously, the young man approached the mirror. Each step he took echoed in the silence. As he stared into its depths, he saw dozens of figures trapped within the glass, each one smiling eerily. Some seemed to be reaching out, their fingers clawing at the surface. The sight sent shivers down his spine. One face in particular stood out, the same face from earlier. It was him, but not him. It was his reflection, yet it wasn't his own image. He stared back, uncertain of what to do. Suddenly, the figure reached out from the mirror and touched his nose. The young man recoiled in surprise, instinctively slapping the mirror.
The touch was cold, as if the figure had been frozen in time. Startled, he stumbled back, knocking over the candle.
It skidded across the floor, sending sparks flying toward the mirror. As flames danced near the glass, the trapped figures stirred, their whispers echoing through the room.
The young man froze, staring in horror as the flames crept closer to the mirror.
He desperately tried to smother the flames, but they seemed relentless. Just when he thought it was over, the flames abruptly stopped. As he looked closer, he realized the fire had formed a perfect circle around the mirror, keeping it at bay. Cautiously, he approached the fire. To his surprise, he felt no heat, and the flames didn't burn his hands. He reached out and pushed one of the flames aside. Beneath the fire's glow, he saw something strange. The room beyond the fire was dark, but on the other side of the mirror, there was light. Intrigued, he reached out and touched the fire. It felt warm, inviting, and the closer he got, the brighter the flames burned. As he stepped through the circle, he felt himself falling into darkness. The world spun around him, and when he opened his eyes, he found himself in a place he'd never seen before. Before him lay a vast white expanse dotted with towering trees and winding paths. In the distance, a majestic castle gleamed. Standing there, he felt an overwhelming sense of peace. But then he remembered the trapped faces in the mirror, their desperate pleas echoing in his ears. He turned to go back, but the fire was gone. Panic surged through him. Was he trapped here forever? He started to run, calling out for help. But as he looked around, he realized he was utterly alone. Suddenly, a woman appeared before him. She was beautiful, her eyes sparkling with kindness. "Can you help me?" he asked, his voice cracking. "Of course," she replied. "I'm here to help you. But you must first show me the mirror. Only then can I help break the curse." Together, they embarked on a journey through the mesmerizing landscape. Finally, they reached a clearing where a cottage stood, bathed in sunlight. "This is where the curse began," she said, stepping closer. "And here is how we'll stop it." As the woman approached the mirror, she instructed the young man to repeat after her. "Mirror, mirror, show me the truth. Break the curse! Set us free from this place!" The mirror rippled, revealing the trapped faces. One by one, they stepped out, shaking off the effects of the curse. The innkeeper was among them, looking older, thinner. "Thank you," he whispered, disappearing into the crowd. The young man turned to the woman, but she was gone, and the mirror showed not only his own reflection smiling back, but also the woman smiling at him.
The castle loomed in the distance, its grandeur evident. The young man continued his journey, no longer afraid.
He knew the curse was broken, and he was finally free. 4 more scary stories check out these videos. And remember, if you want to hear more spooky tailies, click the link in the description below.